The torturous, at times, torturous pleasure of thinking too much. And as you said, the static mind will find the devil. I have found the devil in my thoughts.
So imagine that there's a pattern of existence that, quells your anxiety and gives you hope and unites people. Well, then you have an open question is, well, how much does that reflect the structure of being itself? There's a Greek idea of the logos that's intrinsic in the world, that there's an order in the world, right, that we can discover, and that makes itself manifest from the bottom up. And that's the logos of the world, the logic of the world. And it's certainly possible that the logic of the world as expressed in human existence is the same as this spirit of Yahweh that's transmuted in the New Testament into the logos. And what happened, I did a lecture about this at Ephesus in Turkey. That was fun, which was where the logos was discussed 3,000 years ago, the Greek logos. So what you have in Western culture is you have this Greek idea that there's an intrinsic order in the universe, bottom up sort of. And then the Christians come along and say, well, there's also an intrinsic order in the psychological realm. And then Western culture is the juxtaposition of those two, the claim that those are the same thing. And so that would be the same claim as if you honestly and truthfully confront the tragic limitations of your life, you'll discover the truth of the implicit order, and that will redeem you. And that's the fundamental claim of science, for example. So even science, insofar as it's a practice, is embedded in this tradition. So, well, that's a way better story. It's the greatest story ever told, man.
And that is something that I wanted to also touch on. The luxury of thought is acquired from being free. And I say that's the luxury of thought because most people cannot think the way that we have had I wanted to say pleasure, but I don't know if it's pleasure, of thinking so deeply, because it is
the torturous pleasure.
The torturous, at times, torturous pleasure of thinking too much. And as you said, the static mind will find the devil. I have found the devil in my thoughts because you have the chance to think way too much. I don't think the human mind is meant to contemplate this much. Maybe it is. See what the depths of the darkness you can find, but it's so intense. I was chasing financial gain, reached millionaire status by the age of 30, have now 12 properties. And it was weird because all of a sudden I was at the finish line as well. Like, hey, I've arrived. Like, I got all the goals I ever dreamed of that were on my vision board, and I never set any goals beyond that. And so I didn't know what to do with myself. And I didn't want to pursue another financial goal. It just seemed stupid. It seemed pointless. I just thought I was broken, actually, for a while. I was like, I can't seem to do anything anymore. And I used to be so driven and so inspired. We are living in a really twisted society. The more that I've dropped in and seen like the facade of what we've been shown, how carefully curated the world has become for the benefit of a very few individuals. And when you sit and look back at like, you're taking 50% of my money for tax, but I'm grinding so hard. Like every single aspect that I see, I'm like, wow, it's so twisted and it's not for the benefit of people. And the more people that get to like step back after a while and reassess their life and take full responsibility and control of their life, the direction and their desires, well, it would shatter a lot of the current societal expectations. And it sounds like such a wanker thing to say. Like, we think too much. We sit around doing nothing. And I'm glad that there's somebody on this side of having achieved all this, like, oh my god, retirement and success and blah, 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 blah. And now we get to say, hey, it's not it.
What's the purpose of it all?
Yeah.
And that's the question that's tormenting, I think, for me, has been, what is the purpose of all this? Of life? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it is, right?
I kind of have thought that too.
In the Tower of Babel, you have God as the spirit that punishes the technological pretensions of mankind. So men get together to build a tower that stretches to the heavens. That's the Tower of Babel. And they want to do that to replace the transcendence. They want to replace the mystery of being with their own presumptions. And what happens is no one can talk to each other anymore. And that's the state we're in right now.